Welcome to part 1 of our 2-part series on how to create a 2-color rhinestone decal. Hello, this is Lori Ann, your resident blingologist, coming to you from Bling It City. Today I would like to demonstrate not only how to create a 2-color rhinestone decal, but also provide details on where to purchase the equipment, tools, and products you'll need to complete the job. Everyone knows to produce a quality product you can stand behind, you must invest in the proper tools and equipment. For all of my blinging needs, the first place I'll shop is Seps Graphics, one of the leading providers of rhinestone equipment and more. The tools, equipment, and products used in the demonstration can all be purchased through Seps Graphics. Please be certain to note that brands and models may vary. For today's demonstration, we will be highlighting 2 of the latest products to hit the rhinestone market. The first is Sticky Flock, which is a customizable and repositionable material used to make rhinestone templates. Using this material not only saves on time, but it will also save on the wear and tear of your equipment by eliminating the need of excessive downforce when cutting the material. Incredible! Although Sticky Flock can be cut with a 45 or 60 degree blade, I prefer the 65 RTM blade, which is recommended for use with this material. The second is the new and improved Rhinestone Decal Film. This film can be used to create car decals as demonstrated in today's video, or let your creative thoughts run wild and customize your wine glasses and picture frames as well. To help you get started quickly, Seps Graphics has available Rhinestone Decal Startup Kits. Each kit contains a combination of the rhinestone repositionable fluid, mini spray bottles, lint-free wipes, a micro-edged squeegee, and/or bubble poppers to assist with easy application. Now that we have the proper tools, let's get started creating our design. I've selected a 4-inch square slab font for the base of my design. Let's start by selecting our text icon and typing the letters HHS. Depending upon your design, you may need to adjust your spacing. To adjust my spacing, I'm going to use my tool found within the text tool menu bar, Visual Text Spacing. I'm going to use my actual box here to adjust my spacing. I know exactly how much space I need. I've played around with this a little bit earlier. Or you can actually use the tool directly on your screen to adjust your spacing just by visual sight. Depending upon your software, you might need to refer to your guide to find the tools used in today's demonstration. Okay, let's bring this into better view so that we can begin our outlines. The base of our design will be used to create the inside fill as displayed here in the red rhinestone. We'll create the first outline for our second color, which is the white outline rhinestone that you'll see displayed, and yet a second outline to create the template that we'll use to cut the rhinestone film. Going back to the tools bar, we're going to choose the outline feature within the tools menu. There are 3 features that I want to highlight here. The first is used to judge the thickness of our outline, which is typically between 0.03 to 0.20, and the second 2 are the break text and the sort. Now these 2 features will help us to form colors in order to cut the different templates that we'll need for the actual design. I'll actually be using a thickness of 0.06, and I'm selecting my break text here as well as my sort. I'm applying it to my actual design. And the blue outline that you'll see will be our first outline that we'll be using for our outside color. Going back to my transformation box, I'm going to now create the second outline for my rhinestone film cut. Choosing a thickness of 0.14, my outline again, the break text and the sort, applying it to my actual design. I've now created, as simple as that, the outline for the cut of the rhinestone film. As you can see, the outline cut will eliminate any unnecessary decal material from our decal when applying to our vehicle for a nice presentation. Let's pause here for some additional notes as it relates to our outline before moving on. When creating any multicolor design, you'll need to ensure that you select a different pen color for each of your outlines that you intend to create a separate cut. So we'll see that as we're going through the demonstration. Using your color palette, we're going to select the pen color and highlight each outline. So I'm starting here with my outside line for the film cut. As you notice, it is red. The pin is red. The actual fill is red. I'm going to change it to black here just for the purpose of visual presentation. Now I'm going through and I'm checking off my first outline color. It was red. I'm changing it to this purplish color. Again, changing that to black just for visualization purposes on this presentation. Okay, I'm changing it back to my wire view just for a better view here. Now I'm selecting the inside, the very original design here, and it's already blue, which is a different color, so that's great. Let's go ahead and save this outline as is so that we have it saved later to cut our rhinestone film. Before moving on, let's take a quick peek at the colors we chose when selecting our outlines. As you can see here, here's the red for our film cut. Here's the purplish magenta color for the inside fill, and here's the blue to cut the template for the outside second color line. All right, so now moving on, I'll bring this into view and change it back to my wire view. We're now ready to move on to create our rhinestone pattern. Always select the stone size 2 to 3 sizes larger than the stone you're actually using. This will allow for an easy fill when creating your rhinestone template. Today I'm using a 10SS stone for both my inside fill and outside line. I've selected the 12SS size to create my template. Choosing my rhinestone transformation box, I will click on my outside line. So that was the first outline that we created here. Choose my 12SS. I'm going to use a white stone for the outside line. And then I'll apply it to the first letter. You can either click on each letter individually and apply it, or you can click on each letter holding your shift key so that you create one solid selection, and then you apply your stone pattern all at once. There we have the white outline fill here with the rhinestones. And now we're ready to move on to our inside fill. Selecting our first letter and going back to our rhinestone transformation box, I'm going to click on my fill this time because I want to fill the entire pattern with rhinestones, and I've chosen the red color here to fill in the inside fill. I will look to do the same for the second H as well as the S. Now please note you might have a need to adjust slightly the rhinestone fill pattern, so if you notice here I am shifting this just a tad bit to put it in line. That might be necessary. It might also be necessary to go back and add some additional stones. You can certainly do that similar to what you would do for any other rhinestone pattern. As you can see here, making some final adjustments to our template. Again, choosing that red rhinestone for the inside fill and applying. I now have my complete design with the red rhinestone fill and the crystal outline. Now we're all set and ready to cut. So remembering the different colors that we chose for our outline, we're going to now go back and make those selections so that we can cut the rhinestone fill as well as the actual pattern for the outline and the inside fill. So if you can see here, I'm changing my pressure to 170, and that would be for the actual sticky flock cut. I'm choosing a weed because I'd like to weed my outline to ensure that they line up properly when I'm doing my overlay, and that'll be displayed just in a bit here. Alrighty, so in choosing the magenta color that's here, I'm going to select my inside fill and go ahead and send that to my plotter for cutting. Once that's complete, I'll need to come back and do the same for my outside line as well as to cut the rhinestone film. So I'm going to choose the red selection here for the rhinestone film, change my pressure to 125 or whatever the equivalent is for your particular plotter. Before moving on, let's talk a little bit about plotter settings. Remember, each plotter is slightly different, so you might need to call your manufacturer to get the equivalents to some of the suggestions that I'll tell you in today's demonstration. We're using a 60 to 65 degree blade for the sticky flock material with that fingernail width extension from the blade. The pressure is about 170 grams of force with a single rotation. Very important, will save on the wear and tear of your blade. The speed is about 60 centimeters per second. Again, this might vary. You might need to adjust this. And you will only need 2 pinch rollers based on the average size of a rhinestone decal pattern. So here's my plotter. I've gone through already to check my settings to ensure that all my pressure, the pinch rollers are in place. I'm adjusting my sticky flock material here. I've loaded it in and I'm adjusting so that the system picks up on exactly where we need to cut. It's making its own personal adjustments here. And we're ready to cut. I've sent the actual first cut, which was the outline for the rhinestone pattern, to the plotter, and I'll do the same for the inside fill as well. As mentioned earlier, we'll need to change our plotter settings as well as the settings on our software prior to cutting the actual decal film. So I've gone through to change it to a 45-degree blade. I've changed my pressure down to 125 grams of force. And I've also changed my speed down to 15 centimeters per second. I went back to my software to select the red outline that we created for the rhinestone film cut, and I've sent that to the plotter, and it's up and cutting as we speak. Thank you for watching part 1 of our 2-part series on how to create a 2-color rhinestone decal. Be certain to watch for part 2 available on YouTube today.
Diamonds are forever. They are all I need to please me. They can stimulate and tease me. They won't leave in the night. I've no fear that they might desert